Hello, everyone. It looks like we're live. I think we've got audio going this week. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think, whoops, I lost my key. Don't lose that. I'll probably have to change the lighting on this as I get going because especially with black paper, it always messes with the exposure and all that stuff. So we will see on that. But tonight we are drawing a flamingo. And actually, if you are a Patreon member, you've seen me draw this before with just colored pencil. I tried the Fabriano Artistico black paper years ago. Freaking hated it. Hated it. Like, I still have a full thing. I used it once and was like, yeah, no, never again. So not a fan. It was too smooth, and so you just couldn't get a lot of layers, and on black paper, that sucks. We need that pencil to really stick, and I just didn't find that it stuck that well. It'd be fine for sketchbook and stuff, but I think it was overpriced for the, like, it just wasn't great for colored pencil. So yeah, I don't use that. This is the MeWe. Okay. This is the MeWe, the black. I'm working on the smooth side. Just clearing out those so I don't actually, accidentally start playing music again. And I think that's it. This is taped down with an acid-free, pH-neutral tape. Keep in mind when you tape your work, it's always going to leave a little bit of tape residue. So we don't want to use like a normal masking tape because that will leave that little bit of residue, and over the years that can start to cause the paper to yellow or get crispy, and it's not good. We don't want that. So that you may want to go ahead and spend a little extra. Unfortunately, it does cost more, but it is worth it. You don't use a lot of it. So that is what we're going with there. And I'm going to be using my pan pastels for my base layers, of course. And it speeds things along so nicely. And as always, if you are in the US, you can bid on this. The link is in the video description, or just head over to lachri.com and you scroll down a little bit and there's the information there. Only in the US because shipping things outside of the US is just full of all the drama. It's just drama. The biggest issue is I don't have a tracking number to give you. Once it leaves the US, I can't track it. If it doesn't get to you, I have no way of knowing if it got to you, because I had one person actually lie and claim that I never shipped it. It was a whole thing. But anyway, so I don't, not that I'm saying you're gonna lie, but yeah, there's drama. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna leave the black of the paper just as it is and start filling in the pink of the flamingo. So that flamingo, I'm gonna be mixing this pink with my red. This is it red, cadmium red? Hold on, let go. Permanent red, that'll work. Permanent red and white. I really need to order myself some more white. I am getting seriously low on that. But I've got some green on there, so I don't want that green. I'm gonna just wipe over the area that has, because I mixed green over it, and now I'm gonna wipe that off on my paper towel. Now I am good to go. That little spot is clean. So we'll pull that. I may pull a little bit of magenta, we'll see. I'm just going to do a really loose base layer here. Oh, that color actually worked really well. And I'm using my soft tools. The link for all of the supplies I'm using are in the video description. Now, I want this to be a bit darker than what I want the end result to be, because I will be using my white pencils over it. And if I put white pencils over something that's like super light like this, you're not going to see it. So we want that to be a bit lighter. Oh wait, that's you. And we're gonna pull that up. And you can get the reference photo and the line art if you need that. They are both over at patreon.com/Lachri. The direct link to the actual post is in the description, and you do not need to be a member to get those. Oh, this color is freaking perfect. I'm really happy that I'm only having to mix 2 colors because I like to be lazy. Hold on, it is too hot in here. I won't use the Amazon device to set all of your air conditioner and heaters lower. And I don't care if this is perfectly smooth. Semi-smooth is fine. Because, like I said, we're going to go over that with pencils. That's actually really... I'm pretty happy with that. And let's go ahead. And now I want deeper reds, not as much white at all, when I get into these feathers, the inside. So I'm going to focus a little bit more on those for a moment. More red, less white. Let that just glow. I'll read the emails for you later. Someone remind me if I forget. I had a company contact me. They wanted me to promote their, I think it was watercolor, which is kind of funny because I'm not a watercolor artist. Maybe that's why they contacted me. I mean, I use watercolors occasionally, but it's not, you know, one that I'm like my main mediums. But anyway, they wanted me to promote it on my Instagram and such. And real nice people, but yeah, those weren't light fast. And they tried to kind of play it off as like, oh, super high quality, professional quality. Yeah, I'll read you those emails. Now, I'm not going to tell you who the company was. Not that it's a big enough company anyone would have ever heard of them. But it's just funny, the typical sleazy type language that is used to artists to try to convince you that their products are archival or, you know, higher end, and they're really not. Now, as always, this, if you bid on this, this will come matted. And you can see that most of that gets chopped. So this, I'm going to go ahead and extend the colored, or the pastels and the colored pencils out beyond that, just so if I scooch the matte one way or another, I'm not having just the plain paper poke through. But I will say, as sleazy as that company was on their, like, no, we're archival or whatever, in the wording they used, the woman was very nice. She actually didn't get mad at me when I kind of told her she was completely wrong in what she was claiming. Coffee, my second coffee for the night. So this is definitely going to be a life regret later, but I just need it. Yeah, Jen said, my favorite is everything calling itself professional grade. Exactly. And this one pulled something I'd never seen before, the claims. It was kind of funny. I mean, funny to me because I knew what to watch out for, but okay, let's go ahead and start getting, let's see, here I've got this darker patch there. I'm going to mix that. I'm going to use my red oxide, and part of me doesn't want to use this one for black but I'm going to. Red oxide and black to get this darker brown. And we have right in here, and again, we'll darken that up more with our pencils later, but just gives us that base soft. Actually, we can use that color for some of this, and we'll blend it in with white once we go over that. Okay. I'm going to wipe that off. I'm just wiping it on a paper towel. Don't push hard. When you wipe this off, don't push really hard because this is fairly fragile and you will put holes right through it. So I'm just very lightly just dragging it. I'm not really pushing. I'm just dragging it across the paper towel. So let's get white, and much more white than before. This actually might be too much. Let's find out. Nope, that works. Load that with some more white. If you're hesitant when you look at the price of pan pastels, because I know they're kind of pricey to get started with, this set that I've had of 20, I've been using, when did I start using pan pastels? Like 2017, 2018, like whenever that was. Same set. I have never replaced a single one of these colors. And you know how often I use these. So the white, I'll show you here. This is the only one that I've kind of burned through. Oh, that camera's freezing up. That I've burned through in the middle there. This is like, and there's still a decent amount. That many years. This stuff really lasts you a long time. And the great thing is that you can mix them. So they blend and mix just as well as like acrylic paint or whatever. And that's what I'm doing here. So you don't need to go out and buy every color that's available. Just mix from, like, this basic set of 20 is absolutely wonderful. So you may have to save up a bit to get them initially because, like I said, I understand like colored pencils are expensive too, but it is worth it. I'm a huge fan of saving up and getting the stuff that you want versus settling for lesser supplies that you end up having to replace because they don't work or they break or whatever. Airbrush is a good example of that. It might work at first, but the cheap airbrushes are just as likely to break really, really early, which is so sad and frustrating when you wasted, you know, even if it's just $80, it's still, that's $80 that could have gone towards the good setup. Not that you won't have fun with it till it breaks. Like, I like to save money on, well, I want to save money whenever possible, especially in this economy, but you've got to be careful what you're trying to save money on, because sometimes you end up costing yourself a lot more in the long run. So we've got this highlight here. Let's see, this one's a light one. Okay, I'm going to wipe that, and I'm going to load with red. I'm going to pull some orange too into some of this. So like here, I want to get more of that orangey tone, and that will fade down to more red. We've got this orange in here. I want to get that little bit of a peach orange glow. I'm going to mix some white with my orange. I'm going to have to put more orange on top of that. I like that, Jen. Life is too short to use crappy art supplies. I should make that into one of our Patreon stickers. Actually, like, seriously, good companies like Derwent or Faber-Castell, like, they should make that their, like, use that as a logo. Like, that is so funny and so true. I need more white on that. And the good thing is, though, like, depending on what art supplies you're using, depending on what your budget is, you can use good supplies for not a lot of money. Like, charcoal is a great example. Charcoal is extremely inexpensive. You can make archival work that's going to last with charcoal without spending too much. Plus, charcoal's gorgeous. Sorry, itchy eyeball. And I've just mixed a bit of white with what was on the brush. All this is going to get done with my pencil, so I'm not worried about putting a bunch of work into that. And are we about? No, let's see. I'm missing some darker feathers back here. I want to go ahead and wipe that brush off. I want some orange and red. Like, let's really get the, oh, we have, they're going to be happy. Look, their head's already popped up. Gibson's like, I know what's coming. Do you guys want a super chat from Kirsten? You just ran over the water bucket thingy. Thank you so much. She said, for the lovely puppies. I think, depending on how long this takes me, which it's looking like it's going pretty fast, with the Flamingo, I'm probably going to swap the boys, let them go out, and then go get French fry, because I feel really bad. French fry, I spent the day, okay, that's enough. Lay down, down, wait, cow, down, down, down. I spent the day doing tank maintenance on my reef tank, cleaning pumps that hadn't been cleaned in years. But French fry had to spend so long in the cage, much more than usual, using a little bit of orange here on the ends. And I feel bad, and so I want to go get him out. I know I should, like, it's not that big of a deal. I don't need to feel bad, but I do, because he's very spoiled, and he didn't get what he's used to, and that's just sad. I'm just using red and orange here, filling in these. And again, the pencils are going to make a big difference when we come on top with that. And then, of course, I can come back with more pan pastels if things need to be softened a bit, which probably will be the case, especially around the head. But let's go ahead and a little bit of white. What is the brand of pan pastels that you use? They're all, like, there's only one brand. Pan Pastels is a unique product. They are the only one. Pastels is the brand. Okay. Like pastel pencils have different brands, but Pastels is the brand. Oh, we've got another super chat from Tracy. They're both their heads pop up. Come get your super chat. Oh, their camera is frozen. I'll have to fix that. Thank you so much, Tracy. Let me fix the hound cam is frozen. I do not know why. There we go. Lay down. Down. Boy, sit down. Down. Oh, wait, just stole Gibson's bed. Wow, swiped out from under you because you wouldn't lay down. Lay down. That was funny. Okay. Yeah, I don't do a lot of like product reviews. People contact me. I can get free art supplies all the time, but it's not good art supplies. And if I'm not comfortable, oh, I'm missing this section I want to put a feather in. If I wouldn't use it myself, I'm sure as heck not going to recommend it to you guys. I'm not putting my name on the line for, you know, some company that is making crap products. And yeah, I could review them. I could test them, but if I think it's going to be a crap product, I would rather buy it myself. And I mean, in general, I would rather buy it myself because I feel like the review, like, unless I've tried it before and I have an idea that I'm going to like it, I kind of don't want to, like, I don't want to be rude to a company and be like, sure, I'll do a product review, and then I hate it. And then I'm like, yeah, I have to tell people I hate this. I would rather just buy it, not get the company involved, and there we go. I mean, I've worked with Derwent, I've worked with Faber-Castell, but like my first review of Faber-Castell, I'd not worked with them before. Like, I bought the pencils on my own, and then they had contacted me. Same thing with Frederick's. Like, if I don't like to promote things in general that I wouldn't. Okay, let's see. Oh, I need to spray this first. I need to move my phone. I need to find my sprayer. So this is my Spectrafix in a fine mist sprayer, and I am just lightly going to go over this to help seal this in place. And then I'm going to take a hairdryer to dry that. And that doesn't just speed things up, it helps pull the paper tight back into place because Canson MeTense is very, very soft, like very absorbent. So when you spray it with anything, if it gets wet at all, it gets very, it bends, it warps. Okay, next, colored pencils. I have so many pencils out on my desk, I don't even know if I need to get more than this. I'm not even gonna pull them up tonight. I'm just gonna like use what's sitting here and drink some coffee. And if I'll be answering questions at the end of the live stream, so if you feel ignored, it's only temporary. I promise. Okay, so I've got my black polychromos. I'm just gonna do my little pupil there. I'm gonna kind of draw his eye back in because I lost it. Ooh, it is getting windy out there. How many of you guys are getting hit with that storm that's supposed to come through? We're just kind of on the outer edge, so we're just getting wind and maybe a little bit of rain, but nothing crazy here. Okay, so part of the beak is here. Actually, I'm going to switch over to my Caput Mortem and purple. So I've got Caput Mortem with polychromos, and I've got purple with Derwent Lightfast, which if you don't buy any of the Derwent Lightfast pencils, get purple. At least get purple and Nightshade are like my two must-haves. I love those pencils. Okay, let's get a little bit of like a cream or a yellow for the eye. So far, all the colors I have are close enough that I don't need to go get off my lazy butt and pull out other colors. So this is Primrose. That is Caran d'Ache Luminance, and I'm going to use that for the eye. And I'm adding a moderate amount of pressure there, just so it shows up really well. I'm going to switch over to, this is Light Flesh from Derwent, or almost said swear words, Faber-Castell polychromos, brain shut. See, I need that coffee. I'm telling you, cleaning water or all the pumps and the return pumps and all that on my reef tank, that took so much longer than I thought. I'm like, oh yeah, it'll take an hour. I mean, I haven't done it in 4 years, but it'll take an hour. 3 hours later. And so I'm going to complain about it all night. Jason says, so you don't ignore on purpose. That's a relief. Oh, no, I ignore you on purpose because you keep trying to name my frogs frog legs. You, sir, get ignored. Just kidding. Sort of. So I want to create a little bit of texture in here. I'm using my white. This is Derwent Lightfast. And actually, I think this is Arctic. Yeah, this one's Arctic. It's white. It all looks the same. But this is going to get me all those highlights. And I want to get a few little lines for right around the beak there. Now, when you're working on something this small, this is a 5x7. So I don't have a ton of room for all the detail. You go for close. You give the hint of detail, but I'm not going to sit there and draw all, like I wouldn't get in. There's like, I don't know, I could probably count 15 lines of wrinkles there. Maybe not that many. There's no way I'm going to fit that in this. So I'm just going to go for close and get a few of them in there to give you the hint of detail without actually doing all that detail. So I'm going to switch over to my polychromo so it's not quite so bold now. Lily said tonight's supposed to be -3. Oh, we don't get that cold very often here in Dallas. Like, that is too cold for me. I did have to bring in, I have one of my, is it a jasmine or jessamine? I think it's a jessamine. And one other plant. Oh, my bougainvillea had to come inside. They got to go out for the nice weather last week, but had to come right back in. Okay, actually, let's go with purple. End of his beak. Let's see, what brownish tone do I have in here? I'm sure I've got something that'll work. Also, you could put mortem if I don't have anything good. It looks like more of a orangey. Ooh, come here. Whatever you are, you will work. Get back in there. Actually, oh, I'm going to regret setting all those out. That is going to be a bit of a nightmare for me later because I'm definitely going to knock them on the floor. You know, this is the color I was actually looking for. So this is, I guess I should tell you what it is, huh? Terracotta. Like, this is getting too, I went a little too dark. Let's put white over it. There we go. I lost my purple. Oh, it's in my hand. Of course it is. Okay, I'm just looking at that photo, going for pretty close. This is that purple again, just creating a bit of a shadow. I don't want a super hard edge where it fades into that background, so I'm just going to soften that a bit. Okay, let's go up to the feathers around his face. After I have some more coffee, because I need it. Okay, this is, actually, I may have to get a pencil out. So the pinks that I used last time were like almost a cooler pink, closer to purple. I need something that's a little bit more of a coral color. And I know that Caran d'Ache has some amazing coral type colors. So let's go down here and hope I hate bending down over here because I end up always afraid I'm going to make my knee pop right back out of joint. Okay, I just have to sit on the floor and hope I don't screw that up. Okay. My knee had been good for years, and then last week, was it last week? The week before? I don't know. It went out of joint, and then it's always questionable if it's going to do it again for a month or two after, so you'll hear me whining a little bit more than usual about it. I just have to be super careful. So if you hear me like rolling around on the floor, breathing really in a creepy way. It's me trying not to pass out from the pain, but I have to get it back into the socket. Here we go. There's the color I'm looking for. You, oh, pretty bright orange. I want you. I'm just going to grab a couple of these colors while I'm down here because I really don't want to have to get back down here again. Okay, let's see if I can get up without causing issues. That's always the dangerous part. Okay. So what I wanted, and I don't know how well, oh, did I put them back? No, I don't know how well this will show up on camera. But if you can see color-wise, these have almost an orangey, well, it doesn't show that great. It's kind of an orangey pink, whereas these are like a purpley pink. This is more what I want for the flamingo. With flamingos, they're not normally, I mean, it depends on the lighting. That's not true because I have taken photos of lighting where it was this pink. But usually, like if you're in as pure like daylight, natural lighting as possible, they're going to be more of a coral type color, more orangey. I do want to address, I know I said I wasn't going to answer questions yet, but this wasn't even a question. I'm going to bring it up. Snow said, I know I need to use my pan pastels, but I'm afraid of the dust. And I think someone mentioned it dries out, does not dry out, and there's not a lot of dust. It is not like using normal pastels. Normal pastels, dusty, like it leaves a mess all in the bottom. Like I just rubbed my hand under my easel. Now keep in mind, like maybe 3 in a row pan pastel colors, that's all that came off. So a little bit, that is not a lot for how much pastel. Like if I was using real pastels, I would have just made a mark on my nose from scratching after touching that. This would be covered. It's not that messy. Now, if you use any type of pastels on like sanded paper, you're going to have a bit more mess. But like on Inktense, there's very, very little fallout and it doesn't dry out. Like the pans, they're not drying out at all. Again, those, I want to say it was 2017, 2018. I think it was 2017 I got these. So that's a long time. They last a long time. They're not dry at all. I sound like a walking advertisement, but I get excited. See, when I like something, I turn into a walking advertisement. But I think that's why these cheap companies want me to promote their stuff. Not gonna happen though. Okay, so I'm gonna use my Caput Mortem, and I'm just gonna correct this shadow a little bit, kind of clean up that edge. I'm going to be switching into these lighter colors. I don't want to start with my white. Let's see how well this shows up. Actually shows up okay. So this one is medium flesh. Why do we have to name it after zombies? Like that is what a zombie would name things. From my understanding though, they changed the name, so I don't know what color those are. So I'm going to just start building the feathers, and I just want to go in about the right direction. I'm not sitting here trying to make them perfect. They do need to overlap. They do need to sort of clump and cluster together, and I need a darker color as I move in. Kind of an orangey, let's see, which color will be good? This is more red. I don't know if this will work. This is scarlet. It works. I just want a little bit of a darker here, and then I'll overlap my medium zombie flesh. Flesh is just one of those words that sounds gross to me, like moist. Do you guys have any words that kind of give you the ick? Those are both some of mine. Like, and actually, the word flesh doesn't gross me out as much. It just makes me think zombies, which I guess is kind of gross. I'm going to do a little bit of a backlight right along that edge, just a little bit. Lily said, can you do something fishy with coral? I have scheduled the next few live streams, and I meant to ask you what medium, but this one is going to have to be acrylics. I hope that's okay. That's coming up. So next week we are doing the cutest baby cow in charcoal. The week after that is the funniest photo I got. I zoomed in on it, so it was extra funny, of a chicken's heads all stretched out. Cutest chicken. And then that's going to, both of those are that's pan pastel and colored pencil. And then after that is acrylic. It's coral and a clownfish. So that one is like, then there's no way I could get that done because I put, like, there's too much coral. I'm going to be pushing it for myself, but I've figured I was more likely to be able to get that done in acrylics than anything else. So that's why I chose that medium. But if you want something in pan pastels and colored pencil too, or whatever medium, let me know, Lily. I will add it because I'm trying to, I actually found, I'm gonna call it my own personal life hack. When I'm not in the mood to work because I'm just tired and I don't want to think, I started scheduling or planning out future live streams where I could just be kind of a zombie and look at photos on Unsplash or Pixabay until I found something that was doable for a live stream. This one is Venetian Red. I'm going to use this for some of these darker areas. I'm going to have to come back through with Caput Mortem and some other stuff too, though. I want to map that out a bit. You can't really see it that much. I'm going to use, I want a darker pink. Oh, here, let's try this one. I'm just experimenting with different colors to see what will give me what I'm looking for. Sharpen this. It'll probably take several layers of different colors to get what I want. This is Crimson as a something hue that I can't say. From Caran d'Ache Luminance. This should be more of an orangey color. So I'm going to do a little bit with this and then switch to a different one. This goes really dark though, which is why I want to keep using it a little bit. Let's see how you are. This is Rose Carmine. Not dark enough. Back to Scarlet. I think I'm just going to have to layer a few of these to get the color that I really want. And it's not really so much about the color. I just want my values right, and other colors don't get dark enough. Again, just watch the direction of those feathers. Thought I'd get done with this earlier and go get French fry, but I'm not even so certain now. As I start getting into the detail, I start having fun. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna drag this out forever. Bad Cow is definitely passed out. He looks funnier from my view because his mouth is hanging open. He's a funny cow. I really do like how dark the scarlet gets here, though. Just looking at that photo, trying to get these feathers going in about the right direction. Again, if they come out a bit too harsh, I can just go back over it with my pan pastels and soften it out a bit. Where was my, let's see. I think this was, yeah, Light Flesh. Start getting some of these lighter patches in here, overlapping onto those darks that we did. And just keep watching the direction. That matters so much. Now here, I'm just going to fill in a little bit more solid because we're not going to see that. I don't want to see that much texture. I'm going to soften that as I move away from the face. Just doing little ovals here. Making sure they overlap so it doesn't look like a bunch of little ovals. Got the feathers back right here. And I don't want to push very hard because I need to come back through with some white too. And if I push very hard with this pencil, then the white's not going to stick. Let's pull some of these in between the darks now. Yeah, see already it's not sticking real well. That's okay though, because I will use pan pastels for a lot of that. Again, little ovals. We're going to let that fade out. Don't push hard because I want the white to stick. And let's switch over to, where did that coral one go? Here it is. This one is called, oh, I can never say this, Anther something pink. That's as close as I ever plan to get to pronouncing that correctly. And that is Caran d'Ache Luminance, but it's the prettiest, bright, like opaque coral. And I'm going to shift down to red. Again, just little white circles. And that is going to fade up into those pinks. Now you can use OMS over this. If you wanted to blend that out, you certainly could. You just want to make sure that you've sprayed it first with your, anywhere where you had pan pastels, you need to put the, my brain shut down, Spectrafix first. How many times can I say apparently a lot. So if you put the Spectrafix down and then you go over it with colored pencil and then you need to blend the pencil with OMS, you're fine. But if you didn't put the Spectrafix down, it ends up kind of turning into a paste. No, I do not want you to restart. You always want to restart. I update you and you're just going to want to restart again, so why bother? Sorry, having an argument with my computer. Okay, I'm going to come through with some white. Let's see if the polychromos white is bright enough. It looks like it so far. I'm just using this to lighten up a bit. Not pushing super hard. And again, I'm focusing on my values. Light's light enough, dark's dark enough. That is what matters here, because there's not a ton of detail. There's going to be more detail on the feathers here, but not as much here. Here we want to go ahead and keep it a bit softer. And let's layer that coral color that I can't pronounce from Caran d'Ache Luminance over some of this more. Now I'm starting to add a little bit more pressure. A hint of some of those feathers. I'm going to switch to my Derwent Light Fast for some of this white. Just get the hint of a few more feathers in there. Not a ton. We're just getting the hint. This is going to be more opaque than the polychromo, so this is going to stand out a lot more, especially if I push very hard with it. Oof. Do with the pan pastels. Actually, I can do that now. I'll show you, even like working back and forth. Let's switch to you. Look how nice and soft that is. You can see a little bit of the hint of the feathers, but it's so soft now. Lightly going over that. I'm going to pull more of the red, the white, and a little bit of the orange. Just going to soften that up a bit. Again, red, white, and orange is what I'm using here. Just a bit brighter than what I was getting with the pencils. This has more red, less orange. I don't want to make this, too much orange. Let's wipe that and grab some red. Let that blend up. I'm going to pull a little bit of black right in here, which is going to gray it up a bit. And that is what I want. I'm going to pull red right back over that though. Pull a little so it's not quite as dull. There we go. Okay, I'm going to leave the head, and actually because I went back over that with pan pastels and I might still go back over it with the colored pencils, let's go ahead and spray this. I went a bit heavy on that one. And dry that now. Okay, let's leave that for now. And by mean come back to it, I mean I absolutely will. Okay, let's get started on some of these feathers. I'm going to start with the lightest bits. Actually, let's use that doesn't show up well. Let's switch over to Derwent Light Fast for those centers. That, I don't want that bright. Whoops. Oh yeah, pencils are starting to fall behind the easel. Too many are out. This is the light flesh. I'm going to use that for these ones back here so it's not straight white. This switches back to white here. Whoops, pushing pretty hard because that's going to stay really light. Same thing with you. I'm going to switch over. Actually, we can use the light flesh for that to fade out. By putting the centers, this sort of helps me map out what goes where later. So, because it's kind of hard when you get this many feathers to figure out which one's which. Like you came here, there's something happening over here. I think you are here. I think you are actually supposed to come to about here. And then I invented some because of course I did. Okay. Now I'm going to start, let's just start picking. This pink looks, actually I think I need more orange. Hold on, I want a polychromos orange because that's going to be more translucent. And I don't have one of those out. Okay, I don't know which one of these I want. This one is orange glaze. It sounds like what I want to have happen, so let's go with that. I'll have to switch to more of a coral color as I move my way down. This one is rose carmine, maybe? They those look pretty together. Pushing a little bit harder where I need that to stand out more. And then we've got these darker ones, let's see, under these feathers. Pushing a bit harder there with, this is the, what is that, scarlet. And then back to the orange, which gives this nice, bright, like fluorescent color almost when those two are up against each other like that. Use light flesh right on the tips. And I do not care if these are exact at all. As long as they look like feathers, I'm happy. Take some of that orange back over this. And then I'm going to use the light flesh right along that edge. I'm pushing a bit harder because I really want that to show up. I'll let that fade out into that feather. So let's do this first, and then I'll put a little bit more white over it. Oh, wait, we've got a shadow of orange and red right in here. What color do I want to do that with? I need a dark pink again. That'll work. This one is the Rose Carmine again. And then I'm not going to push super hard here. I'm just lightening that up and let it fade out. Now I'm going to switch to white where I want it to be really bold. Where did that white go? Right here where I want it to stand out, and that makes that shadow stand out more. Now, if you're having trouble, your darks don't look dark enough, it's probably because the whites next to it or the lights next to it are not light enough. And that's what just happened where I made that shadow stand out, because I lightened the white next to it. Okay, let's move on to this feather. So same thing, we've got this orange color again, and then this all gets chopped off from pretty much here on, so I don't really need to worry about that. I just want some color there. And I'm going to switch to my, where did the light flash go? I'm going to switch to Caput Mortem for, if I can find it. That's probably the pencil that fell behind my easel. Oh no, it's sitting right here. I wanted to find that edge. I don't want it to be the black paper, but I do want it a little bit darker. Pushing harder with the white just on that edge. And I will soften that out with my light flesh right along the edge of those. Watch which direction these lines are going in. That really matters. Define that feather from that. I'm going to use my Caput Mortem to define that. I'm inventing feathers here because that's not actually on the photo. Okay. That is too dark, but again, that gets cut off, so it's not a big deal, but it's giving me an eyesore, like it's kind of an eyesore, so may as well just lighten it up too. Okay, this feather I sort of worked on. Let's pull Caput Mortem into these darker shadows right in here. I'm also going to do the same thing here, even though that is another area that gets cut off, but just in case it shows. So we did a lot of that. I want to go over that with my white polychromos. And I'm going to push harder some burnishing just to soften that out a bit. Okay, next feather. Let's go with this guy up here. So where is the light flesh again? Actually, let's do the shadows first. So we have some definite pinky orange guys. Go. And that needs to be toned down a lot. I'm going to use Caput Mortem to tone this edge down right over that. And along this edge. Right through here, we've got the more bright area. I'm using my polychromo, so it's not too opaque yet. Okay, let's see. I'm going to use my polychromos white for a few of these little guys sticking out, and to soften that, I need to switch over to my light zombie flesh. I'm going to use Kaput Mortem to come back in between some of these little areas on the feather. That must be putting the birds to bed. They are losing their crap in the other room, screaming their heads off. They don't want to go to bed. That you're really not going to see. I just want to get a little bit in case a little bit peeks through. Okay, so this guy is a little wispy that way, wispy this way. It's actually very similar to how I do palm fronds. I'm going to use some white just at the ends. Let's come back in between some of that with the orange, and I'll use pink as well. I'm going to do the same thing here. And, okay, so you're the one that's actually really white. Let's switch over. I'm going to pull brighter white with my Derwent Lightfast White, because that's going to be more opaque. Pushing a lot harder on the areas that I really want to stand out. Okay, now these guys end up being kind of dark. I'm going to use my Antho whatever pink from Caran d'Ache Luminance for the highlighted area, because that's that really coral color. These little lines are slightly curved, and that is important because if you do a bunch of straight lines, the feathers look really stiff, and that is not the look we want. They're always, all of these lines are at least a little bit curved. Okay, back to white. These have a few wisps that the light is really hitting. But I'm going to use my Polychromos white now. Just softly go over the top of that. And then this fades back out into that darker coral color. You can see as I'm going, I'm filling in a lot of the black paper that was kind of showing between each of the feathers. I'm covering most of that. Let's get some scarlet in here. Remember, with colored pencils, it's always easier to make something darker than it is to go lighter. So keep that in mind as you're layering. I like to put those lighter colors in first usually, or at least a mid-tone so you can go up and down from there. As these colors are getting in there, I can see I want a little bit more of an orangey tint on that eye. Not a ton, just a little bit in there. Okay, let's go on to this feather. So this one has some definite dark chunks in there. I'm using my scarlet for most of this. It gets lighter as we come through here, so I'm going to switch over to that whatever. Actually, it's not even that same pink. This is dark zombie flesh. I don't want to push too hard though because I need those little white wisps to show up over it. I should probably sharpen that pencil. Oops. Again, these are all slightly curved. I want to fade out into a darker pink as I move my way down. Or that coral color, that works too. I want to pull a little bit of that orange glaze in this darker area. And then let's get that white to make it overlap just a bit. And then we've got just a few little messy feathers in the background that you'll see some texture of, so I'll just give the hint of those. And this guy, okay, this one actually has a light orangey color. It shows back there. It is a separate feather, maybe a little bit darker than that. And then this here comes down like that and back up something like that. This outer edge is pretty light, so I'll use my more opaque white there with the Derwent Light Fast, and then I'm gonna actually switch over to Zombie Flesh, the light one. Whoops, oh, I should sharpen that. I've got to come through with some reds and oranges for these darker bits. Probably should have sharpened that too. Actually, I don't want it to be that dark. Let's go to, let's see, a little bit of an orangey tone. I'm missing, my feathers aren't quite shaped right in here, so we're just gonna go for close. But again, it doesn't really matter as long as they're, I mean, they look like feathers. The bird ruffles and fluffs up and all those feathers shift location anyway, so you don't need to be exact, so don't stress yourself out if they're not perfect. Close is close enough. That nice coral color here, we're gonna let that fade up, and I'm adding a bit more pressure on mine because it's not gonna show up real well if I don't. And I've got it, that, see how dark that is right there? That should not be that dark. Let's take our light zombie flesh. Soften that out. Okay, and then these feathers just fade out. Most of that's going to be cut off from the mat as well. I'm going to switch over to Caput Mortem for the darker portion. Let's cover that. And same thing here, cover that. I'm using Scarlet. I'm going to pull that Scarlet in a couple of areas here. I'm pretty sure most of that gets covered, but it looks nice if it does show. Okay, now that most of this is in there, this is where we just start correcting color and details and just kind of touching stuff up. So we can take it from looking good, that's fine, to much, much better. I want to use, do I have a cool blue, like a light ultramarine? Do I have one of those out? These blues are all way too dark and I don't need the greens. Let's put all this away. I want to see, I would like to take just a little bit. You will work. Hey, I don't even have to get off my lazy butt. This is Genuine Cobalt Blue. That'll work. I want to add just a little bit something extra throughout this. Yeah, oh, that's perfect. So we're getting this backlight on this guy. And it's just going to look a lot nicer. And I'm going to pull that blue through a lot of this paint photo. You can't see that. Whoops, that's not the right one. You can see a little bit here. It's more blue than what the camera is showing, but that is what we're going to do. Now, I'm not just outlining everywhere. Like you can see where I just put the highlight just there, but it fades to dark, fades to dark. Also, we have a super chat from DJ who said, time to wake up the sleepy heads. Do you boys want a super chat? Thank you, DJ. There we go. Yay. So good, huh? I get a coffee super chat. Okay, lay down. Oh, you crunched it all into crumbs on the floor? Good job, cow. Okay, thank you so much. So back to this blue. I'm going to pull this camera back up because you can see it a little bit better. I just want it in a couple of areas. Just let it fade in. See, I'm not going to go all the way up. Just a few spots. Oh, that adds so much. Boys, down. I'm going to few areas. So you might be thinking, well, how do you know when you add extra colors like that are on the photo, how do you know where to put them? Be willing to experiment. I strongly recommend, if you do not currently have a sketchbook, if you are not regularly working, like doing, you can even do this on a tablet. You don't have to like waste paper if you don't want to. Not that I think a sketchbook is a waste of paper, but if you have a tablet or a sketchbook, if you go through and try things, and I think one of the things that I like so much about the tablet is if you take a photo of your work and you're like, I wonder what it would look like if I added blue in these areas. You can draw with your tablet. If your tablet has a pen, like I use the Samsung, I don't know which version mine is, it has a pen. If you have an iPad with a pencil thing, something where you can draw over it, see what it looks like. If you like it, great. That just, like, it's gonna help you to be so much more brave. But if not, even a sketchbook where you're just trying little color compositions, see if you like different things. The more you draw, the more you experiment, and that is the important thing. You have to be willing to experiment. You have to be willing to ruin something and go, oh, I hate that, I wish I hadn't done that. Be willing. That is how you learn, that's how you grow, that's how you're going to get better work. So make sure that you are taking the time to do those things, to experiment, because you're not going to figure out where you like highlights like what I'm doing now. If I wouldn't have been willing to potentially mess something up in the past and try this, I wouldn't know that I like this look. I love this blue in with that line. Now, why not teal? I always use teal. Teal and the pink, this shade of pink, because it's closer to orange, doesn't look as good because this pink has that orange tint to it and so much orange in it. Blue, being complementary, is going to generally look better than the teal. Teal is closer to green on the color wheel, so you know, it's somewhere in between green and blue. I like that better with more reds, but with this much of an orangey tone, I definitely prefer the way that the blue looks. I'm going to take my white, I'm going to lighten up a few of these spots, just holding the pencil to the side here. And looking at the lights and the darks on my reference photo, not really, I mean, there's not a lot of detail in there anyway. I'm just caring about the lights and darks. I'm going to take that blue and not just have a line, I'm going to pull that into some of the shadow. Where's that pink that I can't say? Oh, we have from Terry. Oh, Gibson's already looked, or no, Cal's. Excuse you, sir. No, no, no. Go lay down. Let's try again. Down, down. I didn't call you. We got to follow the rules. You can't just make the assumption. Okay, come. Now you get your super chat. Trying to break the rules. One for you, one for you. Oh, we got a second one from Art by MB. We'll give that to him after. I'm gonna make him lay down again. Give my hand a little bit of a break while we do this. Okay, down, down, down. I've learned, well, they learned, down. I have to make them lay down in between treats. If I give them 2 in a row, they'll just stand after I give them the first one and always expect a second one. So they have to learn, they have to lay down, and Gibson's going to take his sweet time. Got stretch first, slowest race dogs ever. Want another super chat? They're both like, what? 2 in a row? I know, I just made you lay down, but that's how we have to do it. Thank you so much, Art by MB and Terry. Okay, go lay down, 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 down. Okay. Keep pulling some more of this blue in a few places. And And the blue is going to give you, help it to give you more of that almost glow because of the way that it looks when it's up against oranges or red-orange. This is kind of a mess right there. Let's smooth that out. And actually, I'm going to smooth it with a bit of black on the edge. There we go. Too fluffy right there. Anywhere where I'm seeing that shadow and I feel like mine needs shadow, and I'll probably pull some purple into some of this too, but that's where I'm hitting most of these blues right now. Those frogs are talking tonight. A little bit in that area by his neck. Okay, let's see. What do I want to do extra? I'm going to pull a little bit more with the reds. Let's define some of this, the reds and the white. I need to sharpen my white though. These aren't really showing up that much. Now, if anywhere needs a lot more white and it's just not showing up, I've got two options. One, I can use Touch Up Texture Titanium White Mixture from brushandpencil.com and paint it over. The other is to take a Faber-Castell ink eraser because I don't need super fine details. That is this, I say Faber-Castell ink eraser. It's a Faber-Castell Perfection eraser. It's like an ink eraser, but I can erase an area and put the white over it, and the white will then stick really well because it brings the tooth back by removing some of that waxy buildup. And I'm just using my white. Okay, it's getting hot in here. I need to turn the AC down again, or I'd say AC, the heat, by 1 degree. So like right in there, if I want that to show up, just take my eraser and anywhere where I erased, now that white will really show up. Let's take that coral color. I'm just going to call it the coral color that I lost. There it is. Let's soften that as we move back. It shouldn't be that white. And then I want more of this definite orange. I'm going to switch to the Caran d'Ache Luminance orange because it's going to be more opaque. I'll use some of that and some of the scarlet. And then scarlet, which also needs to be sharpened again. And this is with scarlet. Let's pull some orange into that too. Oh, that one needs a little bit more of a highlight. This feather here. Let's take some of the scarlet. Let's see, you had the highlight right in here. Needs to be a bit darker. This is always the fun part to me, just like little touch-ups here and there. But remember, it does not need to look exactly like your reference photo. So back away from it. If you like what it looks like, now stop. Don't just keep working until you start hating it. And as a general rule, how do you know when to stop? For me, it's when I can hang it on my wall and I don't hate it. That's when I call it done. Oh, see, this actually curved that away. And then a bit of a detail in there. Okay. Do I want to do anything else? I kind of like where he is at. Maybe a little bit of softening on some of these feathers. I'm going to pull a few highlights out with my opaque white. Right along this edge. And these can stay, well, no, they can be a little bit darker, but not with white. Let's see if the pink will show up enough. Maybe this and a little bit of white. There we go, and it mixes in with the white. That's more what I wanted. If I would have done straight white, it'd be too bright for what I wanted there. That should certainly fade out though. Let me grab another right in here. Don't want it that white. There we go. Same thing in here. Let's tone that down. I'm pushing pretty hard at that point because I know I'm not going to need much layering over it. Let's pull some more whites right in here. A little bit more here. Now don't overlap your whites and your blues and your pinks. Don't go too crazy with that because you will start making mud. If you keep going back and forth, the oranges over the blues over, that's going to make a hot mess. I mean, it turns brown. You neutralize it. We don't want that. So be careful when you're putting those highlights where you're putting them. Where's purple? I love these final stages of just like sitting back, kind of deciding where you want to be a little lighter, a little darker. So this, I'm using purple for my deeper shadow in some of these. I'm pushing a lot harder because I have so much pencil on here. If I don't apply very much pressure, it won't show up. Now purple can go over orange and be fine. It's the blue that you've got to watch. They're just creating a bit of a shadow under some of these feathers now. I'm using purple for that. Okay, I think he is done. So what I'm going to do now is hold the mat over it so I know where to sign it. I'm going to throw my pencils on the floor apparently. Oof. See what I mean? Like not much of that, this section shows. That's a lot that gets covered. That's why I didn't put too much. Oh, I like how he came out. Okay, right about there. I'm going to use the medium zombie flesh, I think is the color here. Yep. There we go. See why I hold that up? Because if I would have signed down here, you wouldn't even see it. I need to know where my mat is going to hit so I know where to sign. So again, if you are in the US and you want to bid on this guy, I'll show you in this camera. Actually, let's hold this up so you can kind of see better where that fits. Right about there. You'll get a new mat that is not dirty though. something. It's hard to hold the mat up in place, but there we go. There is the finished Flamingo. He's a little bit more pink than what this light is showing, a little bit more color saturation. So, yay! Okay. Now we are at 9:17. I'm going to start answering your art questions, but I'm going to do a quick pet swap. We're going to set the boys free, and then I probably have to put them outside. They usually want to go out after live streaming. And I'm going to go get French Fry because he has not gotten enough attention today, and I feel really guilty about it. I mean, I was in the room with him, but he wasn't free to fly and play. So give me 1 second. Here, I'll give you guys treats out here. So you get rewards. Come on. I'm kicking you out. I'll bring some pistachios so super chats can start going to French Fry. There you go. Go lay down. Nope, nope, nope. You're not coming back in. Come on. Lay down. Boys who lay down get treats. Down. Cow, down. Gibson, come lay down. You can come in this bed. Down. Gibson, down. Down. All the way. There you go. Slowest race dog ever. Need to close. And I can't have the boys and French Fry together in there because if French Fry flies off, I don't want Wade snatching him. Wade's the one I worry about. Because I don't want to catch you. Okay. Whew. I'm starting an oil painting, so once that gets started, the birds can't be in here for a while. Let me grab a razor blade so I can chop up your pistachio. So you can get super chats. Actually, I'll probably just give you treats because you haven't had enough treats today either. Seriously, I feel so bad. You're so neglected, huh? Okay, 1 second. I have to chop up the pistachio because he's really greedy and tries to take the entire thing. So now I use a razor blade to chop them up. That'll work. I can actually do that as needed, and we will go ahead and answer your questions. Okay, here. Pistachio. Okay. So let's go ahead and get to those. Oh, Discord's not sending me notifications again. Okay. Oh yeah, the sleazy watercolor email. So let's start with that. It wasn't that bad. I mean, they were very cordial, very nice, unlike Holbein. My main complaint was just the wording and the way that they try to make it sound like their product is better than what it really is. And it's not. And I couldn't find the information on their website because their website tried making it sound, and again, I'm not going to tell you it was because I'm not trying to bash, like, whatever. I mean, I am, but I'm not. But their website made it sound like, oh yeah, professional quality, blah, 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 and all this great stuff. So let's see. Whoops, that's not the right email. What is my state and zip code? Texas, 76227. I apparently have missed some emails today. Seriously, it has been a long day. I've got emails to respond to. Let's see. Come on, here we go. Okay, so hope this message finds you well. My name is, I'm not going to say, and I'm with, I'm not going to say, we specialize in providing high quality art supplies. And we recently launched our, not going to say, artist grade watercolor. This product is perfect for both watercolor enthusiasts and professional artists. We absolutely love your work, especially your watercolor creations on Instagram, and believe your style aligns perfectly with our brand. We'd love to collaborate with you and promote our watercolor products to your followers on your platform. You can check our product, and then there's a website. We'll provide you with free watercolor set, and we're happy to offer compensation based on your creative output and exposure. So, I mean, and that's the thing, I could make money, and some of these companies pay a lot to do it. I'm not going to recommend stuff to you that I wouldn't use. So my response was, hi, I'm not going to say the name. Do you have Lightfast info ratings for these watercolors? What testing methods do you use? Thanks, Lisa. The response, dear, regarding the Lightfast certification, I wanted to let you know that our formula and lightfastness parameters are aligned with those of the classic British watercolor brand Winsor & Newton. I'm sorry, what? Oh, we align with Winsor & Newton. Two things. One, I have never had a company make that claim. Second, no, they don't. That is a straight effing lie. I mean, straight out lie. They didn't test at all. They didn't test, but they're claiming they're the same as, that they align with Winsor. That is the shadiest, straight out freaking lie. Like, that's what makes me mad. The whole, part of me wants to say I should let you know what company this is, because they are, I forgot about that part. That was like I said, hi, I'm not sure what you mean by them being aligned with another brand. What scale do you use? So what I'm looking for is ASTM or Blue Wolf. Those are the only acceptable answers here. What scale do you use? Anyway, what scale do you use, and what methods are used for the actual testing? I want to know, did you stick it in a window and call it good? Because that's like what CPSA does, which gives you an idea, but it's not super accurate. Or did you use the super expensive Lightfast testing machines that like Derwent, Faber-Castell uses? Very expensive. I understand that. But that's going to be more accurate. Anyway, I said, what scale do you use, and what methods are being used for the actual testing? This is info I request anytime I do a product review or use a product in my own work as a professional artist. As professional artists are my core viewers, we need actual Lightfast ratings for anything we use. Thanks, Lisa. The response, dear, thank you so much for your interest in Lightfast testing. Exclamation mark, like what? We really appreciate your dedication to providing your audience with detailed and transparent content. It's absolutely great if you'd like to do your own test to visually demonstrate the results. You want me to do my half-baked Lightfast test, putting it in the window, and how? What? No. That said, I wanted to kindly explain that as a manufacturer, we don't typically provide the detailed information about our product processes, quality control, or testing standards. What sleazeballs. Like, she's being very nice to me. What freaking sleazeballs. This approach is quite common in the industry. No, it's not. I mean, it is for you sleazy companies out of China. That is what this is. A sleazeball, low-end, crap quality who made a really nice looking website. Their products are packaged nicely from the photos I've seen. Wait, and the thing is, if somebody doesn't know, they're going to listen to this and believe it and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. We don't typically provide detailed information about our production process, quality control, testing standards. This approach is quite common in the industry, even among leading international brands. You're a liar. You are lying. In general, if certain data or reports are available publicly, they can be found online. If not, it's likely because they are internal and not for external release. No, it's because you didn't test them and you're lying about it. You're liars. You're lying to me saying that it's to do with Winsor & Newton. You're lying to me, or that it's in line with Winsor & Newton. Winsor & Newton does Lightfast testing. So you're lying about that. You're lying about international standards and other companies. You know what? Screw it. The name of this company, Phoenix Art Store. Don't buy from them. I wasn't going to say it, but as I'm reading this again, I'm actually getting more mad. Like these were because I didn't read it all in one go. I read it in little batches, little pieces. One email the next day, one email the next day, and I wasn't as mad. Now I'm mad. You're a liar. You are lying to people. You do not compete with Winsor. You're not doing the same thing. You don't align with Winsor & Newton. You're lying to me about what international standards are. You're liars. That's where I have a problem. You can be wrong about something, but when you straight out lie, F you. Let's see. Regarding official test reports, we currently do not have physical documentation available to share. These tests require specialized equipment and are carried out through certified labs. We truly appreciate your understanding and are happy to support you in any other way. Let us know your thoughts. Warmest regards. My response was, actually, industry standard does tell us what methods were used to test for light fast ratings, generally blue wool or ASTM. The fact that you cannot provide this information indicates that you did not test for either. I understand that these are expensive tests for manufacturers to do, but without them, I cannot use or promote the product as they are not professional quality without these tests. Thank you for reaching out to me. I hope you find the right people to share your product with in the future. Actually, I hope you don't, because anyone who shares that product didn't do their own research, and this company, they're liars. They're like, again, she was nice to me, and that's why I wasn't gonna like call them out, because she was very nice, and you know, she's answering my question. I will say I have more respect for her than I do Holbein. Holbein just ghosted me. They weren't gonna fit. They couldn't provide that information, and they're just like, we're just gonna not answer you anymore. So at least she gave me that information. But the fact is, I don't know if she knows she's lying or if her higher ups gave her that information and was like, hey, this is just what we're gonna tell people. Except it's not true. It's like mainstream media. So yeah, that is my thing that made me extremely, it's funny because I'm actually more mad about it now because I'm reading that going, oh no, that was a straight out lie. No, that one's a lie. How many times did you try lying to me? Don't say the words, Lisa. So anyway, that is my holy crap. Yeah. So let's go on to your questions. We'll talk more about that. Actually, here, did you mention that watercolor is not a long-lasting product that will last 75 years? No, I didn't bring that up at all. I didn't need to. I just like, they didn't even give me any information. So a lot of their colors, and this is normal, especially watercolor, it's hard to get some of those to be light fast. You know, you're talking about colors that are probably going to fade in 2 years, and you're not disclosing that to your customers, and that's an issue. But my bigger issue is lying. They align with British company Winsor & Newton. Like, how scammy are you? That is just, wow. Have Winsor and Newton ever do testing that say their products ever last? Winsor & Newton does light fast testing. Yes, that's the problem. I've seen the company's advert on Facebook. They do look subpar. Yep, the funny thing is, I guarantee you I could use that product to make something pretty. I'm not saying it's the best. You can make something pretty with coffee. One of these days I'm gonna make a video painting with coffee. You can make something that looks cool. It's gonna look better. My biggest issue isn't, and you'll occasionally have people are like, look, this artist used this cheap material and look how amazing it is. Yeah, but it's not gonna last. That's my problem with those. Like, even though a good artist is gonna be able to, I mean, I could paint something with French fry droppings and make it look cool. Ew, gross. Sorry. I won't do that. But that doesn't mean that it's going to last. It's going to, like, the color is going to degrade, and that's a problem. If you put 6 months into work, or 6 weeks, or 6 days into a piece, you want to know that it's not going to fade in a few months to years. You know, you want that to last, and that's why this matters. Anyway, okay. Red Metal said, is there a paper that does minimal bleed for markers? I use markers for what you use pan pastels for. So I can't really answer anything to do with that because I don't use markers. And the problem is most markers are alcohol based and they are not light fast. So whereas my pan pastels, what are you saying? Whereas the pan pastels are not going to fade, yeah, you're a good baby. Sorry, I have to respond to him. Yeah, it's a good baby. The pan pastels are not going to fade with time, whereas markers are, with the exception of the Winsor & Newton pigment markers, but they don't make that anymore. I believe they call them watercolor markers. They changed the name, and I've not researched. I don't know. Those are supposed to last longer, but I can't really answer anything beyond that with markers because I don't use them. other than they don't fade. I mean, they're not like us. Lynette said, for a firm colored pencil for detailed work, any advantage to the Caran d'Ache Pablos over polychromos? I know you've always used polychromos and I have a few open stock, but I don't see the difference. So the Pablos, that's a really good question. The Pablos are waxier. They are, beep, beep, beep. Polychromos are going to be your oil-based. That's a harder lead. The Pablos are a very waxy lead. They're the equivalent of Prismacolor, very thin. So if you've used those, it almost sticks to the paper. It's really weird, but they're very, very waxy. You can't layer well with them, or polychromos are the exact opposite. They're oil-based and you can layer so much more. I can get so much more layers with polychromos than I can with Pablos. Like, not even close. And I can get better detail with polychromos. Now on the flip side, the polychromos tend to be more translucent and they will go darker easier, but getting your highlights with those isn't going to stand out as much as Pablos will. Pablos are going to, because they're wax-based, they're going to be more opaque. I know you're a good baby. So that is, sorry, that probably sounded horrible in the microphone. I know, you're so good, huh? But yeah, so that is your difference there. I only have a handful of Pablos. I have black and white, and I got a few other colors. I never use them. I shouldn't say never. I almost never use them. White is the one I use the most of any of those, and even that's not that often. Okay, next we have, oh, coffee's so good. Teresa said, how do you decide what media you want to do your reference in? Honestly, I usually do the reverse. I choose what medium so I'm going to be different than the average person. I'm trying to rotate mediums because of Patreon lessons. And if I do too many acrylics in a row, too many colored pencils in a row, people are like, yeah, I'm not here for that. I want this medium. And you haven't done that medium in too long, so I'm not going to keep my membership. So I've got to rotate from medium to medium to medium, and I will usually decide what medium I want and then come up with my design. So I'm very, very backwards in that. But it depends on, like, if I'm going to do something surreal, it is much easier for me to do that with acrylics because of the way that I can layer and change my mind and cover something. I know you're such a good baby. So that's what he's saying is, good baby. Say it again. You good baby. So anyway, where was I? Oh, that's the one medium that I'm like, if I'm doing surreal, I lean towards acrylics. But most everything else, if I do portraits, I lean towards oils, or like I'm going to be doing a pet portrait of a horse, that's going to be oil over acrylic. But that depends because like Teresa, her dog is one that I'm going to be drawing soon. I got such a cool photo. I just haven't done it yet. But I wanted to do that with, when I looked at it, the dog was primarily black and white with just some color of the reddish brown tones. I saw that in the blue eye. I was like, that would look so cool with water-soluble graphite and a little bit of colored pencil. So like in that case, I just looked at that and thought, oh, that medium would be fun. No, don't eat the necklace. Sorry. Oh, do you want a snack? If I give you a pistachio, will you be good? Here. Whoops, that's too big. It's as big as you. There you go. So anyway, again, my choices, it's different because I'm making videos and lessons and trying to make sure I keep as many people happy as possible. But yeah, other than that, I also like portraits and colored pencil is amazing for portraits. So I guess that's part of it. Portraits, I like graphite, colored pencil, an oil painting. Whereas pet portraits, I really like saving time doing oil over acrylic. So certain things I just find I can get more done faster depending on the medium. So I don't know how helpful that was. Let's see. But yeah, sometimes I'll just look at it and go, oh, I could get those results with colored pencil. I really want to do the detail. Or it'll just look like fun. Like, oh, that detail would be so fun to do with oils. Or that type of blending would be so fun to do with pan pastels. So that sometimes is it. But usually I choose the medium and then go looking for photos after. I'm very backwards. Snow said, do you ever mix the pan pastel color before putting it on the painting? I do. I mix it right in the little things. Like I mix right on the pans themselves. That's why my pans are always dirty. Let's see. Do you ever mix the pan pastel color before putting it on the painting? And how many layers before you can't layer? Can you easily remove some pastels? If it's too much, can you erase? You can erase. It's going to smudge. So if you're going to erase, I find it to be better. I don't have one over here. A kneaded eraser. The mushy, I don't know where they are. I know there's one sitting here somewhere. But a kneaded eraser, and dab it. push and lift. Don't do this. You're going to smudge and make a hot mess. For smaller detail, yeah, you can erase, but again, you got to be careful. That's going to smudge. For how many layers, it depends on how heavy you were putting each of those layers. I might put a layer on and call it one layer, and you did the same thing, but you caked the pan so much that you basically got what would have been 5 layers of mine. So there's not like a number of layers I can clearly say, because it depends on how heavy you're layering that on there. You don't want too much product. Like, you want enough product that it's coming out opaque, like what you saw in the lesson tonight. But you don't want so much that it's like falling off. If it is just falling down onto your palette before, you are just using way too much. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. Teary Girl Studio said, hello Lisa, I would like to learn to paint oil over acrylic, and I'm wondering, is it okay to apply oil varnish over a painting that still has some acrylic exposed? Yes. I use Gamvar by Gamblin. Am I getting that right? And that can be done over an acrylic too. You don't even have to have any oil. You can safely put that over. So yeah, no problem there. Snow said, is it okay to put pastel painting in plastic portfolio, or will that smudge it? It can smudge it some. So if I've got things built up really heavy, I sometimes, like when I pack things, I will put it in a plastic sleeve, but I have to hold up the sleeve and slide under to make sure it doesn't smudge under. Now, it shouldn't smudge too much because the colored pencil on top, and then I had also sprayed it with Spectrafix, so the smudging should be minimal. But there have been times where I put it on really thick. I am definitely going to put a piece of glassine over it and then smudge it into the plastic, like the Mylar or whatever, I don't know what it is, the clear plastic bags that I use. So, but it can certainly smudge. I actually store my, like before I sell them, I don't put them in the plastic sleeves like a sketchbook type. What I do, I put them in the big art boxes that are acid-free. You get them for photos or whatever. I got mine on Blick. I think it was Blick or Jerry's. And I just put a piece of glassine in between them, but they're all floating loose. That seems to be the safer way. For storage anyway. Let's see. Therapy Art for You said, maybe do a live stream of something in black and white grayscale. So I am doing that next week. We're doing a cow in black. It's charcoal, so it'll be black and white. Securitas baby cow. Let's see. Does your chicken talk? I've been saying my name to my cockatiel for 2 years, and he still won't say my name. Sorry, not an art question. So yeah, Chicken says, this is French fry, so different bird. But Chicken, the cockatiel, he says, bok bok chicken bird. He sings the Game of Thrones song and screws up the ending, just like the writers. I thought that was just the most fitting. Like, I'm not even going to try to fix it because it's hilarious to me. And he taught all the birds the Game of Thrones song. Nugget sings it. Sushi, the female ringneck, she sings it. What else does he say? He'll also go bok, 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 and we'll just go bok, bok, boks forever. Bok, 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 and we'll like hold that out, and we compete on who can hold the bok the longest. My voice starts to crack, so he makes his voice crack too, which is hilarious. But he doesn't, cockatiels don't say so much words. They like to learn songs, and they'll usually have their like one flagship song. So his was the Addams Family years ago. That was the first one he learned. And then once he learned Game of Thrones, he never sings Addams Family anymore. Like, they have their flagship, and that is it. I just love that song. They learn better if your voice is high pitched. I'm trying to think. I think Chicken says a couple more things. Not much. He doesn't have a big vocabulary. French fry and Nugget say way more, but it's like if you had a dog squeaky toy and you were squeaking it and trying to make it talk like the squeaks. They squeak more than talk, if that makes sense. But I know what he's trying to say. I'm trying to think, what are some of your other things? He's got a big vocabulary because he learned from the other birds. They learn better from other birds than they do people, or if you've got a super high-pitched voice, the higher the pitch, the better. So that's why I sound like a chipmunk. What somebody said to me once on a YouTube comment was, I sound like a chipmunk on crack or something like that. He wasn't wrong, but I mean, I don't do drugs. That is what I sound like. But birds love it. So the high pitch, that's why when I say, you good baby, that high pitch, that's what they love. That's what they're going to learn from the best. So yeah, I'm trying to think. I think Chicken says a few more things. I can't think of them right off the top of my head. No. But yeah, he likes to sing a lot and flirt with my toes. He's got a foot fetish, major foot fetish. Let's see. And sometimes, no matter how much you repeat something, like you will repeat it over and over and over again nonstop, but sometimes they just don't find that interesting. There were a few things I tried teaching Chicken. what have I, oh, I've been working with Here Kitty Kitty Kitty. He picked it up, but his is more, it doesn't even sound like it. I'll point it out if he starts making the noise. Again, it's squeaky toy talking. You would never guess that's what it was. I just know what he's trying to say. Chicken, he loves how it sounds, but he's not learned it. And I've been working with that for like 6 months. So he gets super excited, but he never started saying it. So you never know, and you never know what they think is interesting. There were a few different songs I tried teaching Chicken. I think I tried Harry Potter. What? The beep, 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 beep. I tried Harry Potter. Chicken was just not interested at all. There was another slower song I tried and not at all interested. So I think I tried the Star Wars one because I thought Matt would get a kick out of that. Not at all interested, never bothered to learn it. Whereas the next cockatiel over is like, that's my favorite song ever. So it depends on the bird. Let's see. Slice said, would you be able to demonstrate Derwent colored drawing pencils? I have a demonstration just with Derwent drawing. It's, was that a Margay, I think? So there is a YouTube video with just those, but I use those. I didn't use them tonight, but I use them a lot. They're waxier, so I use them with my other pencils when I want something more opaque or super smooth blending. So yes. Fran said, I thought due to all the artists in their magazine, Colored Pencil magazine, that when they came out with colored pencils, they would be light fast, but they didn't have any ratings when I asked. Yeah, theirs are not. So the thing with colored pencils is, or doing light fast ratings, they are extremely expensive. And so with, I believe, now don't take my word for this, I'm not like quoting them or anything, but I believe the goal with those, they're doing the grisaille pencils. It's not necessarily here's colored pencils that you're gonna make your finished artwork with. They are really pushing the grisaille, and I never say it right. She always corrects me. I'm calling it grisaille. Grisaille, I don't know. But they have this product where you color over, like, it's not a coloring page. It's more advanced than color. It's like one step up. So it's the goal, you know, you're trying to get people to, you've been using adult coloring pages. Let's go one step further. And then hopefully you end up doing your own art on top of that. Let's get you full on into art. So it's kind of your gateway art, I guess. And most people that are doing the grisaille, that are getting those, they're not necessarily wanting something that's going to last a lifetime. It's not original art. It's fun. It's learning to blend. It's learning to layer, but they're not wanting to necessarily invest in. And again, do not quote me on this because this is not coming from Colored Pencil magazine. This is coming from my understanding of just how the industry works. Most people in that in-between stage where they're doing the grisaille, which are so fun, if you've not done it, they have kits on so many. Actually, I'm going to be making another project for them soon, but I need to actually do that project. But you have that group of people is not going to want to spend what it would cost for Colored Pencil magazine. So let's look at, let's say Caran d'Ache Luminance or Derwent drawing, or Derwent Lightfast, sorry. Derwent Lightfast pencils, a set, what? You might spend $50 on a set of 25. I don't remember what the actual price is, so don't quote me, you have to go look it up. But let's say it's $50 for a set of 25. A set, I don't even think they have a set of 25. But if a set of 25 for a small brand that is not selling at Derwent's level, because that is Derwent's focus, are their pencils, they're going to have to charge, so it's going to cost them so much to make that they're going to have to charge insane amounts. No one's going to spend $7,500 on 25 pencils, and that's what it's really going. I don't know the actual numbers. I'm just using that as an example. No one's going to spend that when they're just trying out grisaille. They're trying to like take their colored pencil work a little bit further. It just doesn't make sense. But at the same time, a company like Colored Pencil magazine it's good if they've got pencils. If somebody is getting started with, we'll say the grisaille again, they're getting started with that, but they don't know what pencils to buy. It's so much easier if you're like, here's a set. This is going to get you started. This is going to work for that project. So I understand why they wouldn't, why they, peekaboo baby bird, why they didn't make light fast pencils, because they're not for your professional, what I'm doing, what you're doing. They're for one step up from an adult coloring book for the grisaille stuff. So again, we don't need that to last a lifetime. You're learning to blend, you're having fun. It's not something that needs to last forever. So that is where that difference is on why I believe, and again, this is my personal opinion. I don't know, maybe one of these days we can talk Sally into coming on and we can ask her questions. But yeah, that is just from what I know with the industry, why companies make certain decisions, that would be it. Peekaboo baby bird. Let's see. Art by MB said, how do you set up your pen pastels? I noticed your setup isn't like what's in the photos online. Do you have a system with that? I just grouped mine. Let me grab those. Don't fly off, okay? He flew off earlier and it took forever to catch him in here. He went on a full like zoomies around the room, but I didn't want to leave him and have him chew on plants because these are not bird safe plants. bird safe plants in my office, but not in here. Okay, so my colors. Crap. Okay, yeah, you can hang out on the ceiling fan. You're safe up there. The green, I just kind of group them together, kind of rainbowish. I start with the reds, colors that kind of are just similar to each other. It just made sense to me to have them kind of group, like my greens into the yellows, you know, again, kind of rainbowy. Personal preference does not matter. Come here, let me get you. Let me chase a bird around the room. Come on, get down. And he's gonna do a million zoomies. Yeah, get it out of your system. And he's up on my ladder with the plants. I know, have fun. Just don't go behind somewhere I can't catch you or get you easily. Get down. 1 second, we're just chasing a tiny little bird. He's having too much fun, but I don't want you up there. Come on. I think one of the last times he was in here, he did not have full flight. So now he has all kinds of fun. Okay. Here, since you came back so easily, here's a treat. Pistachio? Here. You want a pistachio so we can go back to answering questions? Baby bird, turn around. Turn around. I don't want you to fly off again. I want you to eat a snack. Come here. There you go. Pistachios are his favorite. Okay. Tammy said, the other night you mentioned a Faber-Castell eraser in pencil form. I have the Derwent version. How do you compare it? Is it worth buying the Faber-Castell? I don't know if I have the Derwent version. I'm not going to answer that yet. I'm going to look this week. I'll try to remember and look and see if I've got a Derwent version. I don't know if I don't think I have that. So I don't think I can compare. I mean, I know I can't compare them because I don't even know if I have it. I have a lot of pencils and erasers in there that I buy and then forget about. So it's possible it's in there, but I don't think I have a Derwent version. Again, I could be wrong, so I'm not sure there. DJ said, you have to be a bird owner many years to get it. I speak bird. Yeah, and the different birds, like these guys, the squeakiness is just so, like each bird has a different voice, like even chicken. Chicken's more clear. I think you can tell chicken saying bok bok chicken bird. He says that too. Peekaboo's very clear with these guys. So yeah. Yeah, and he talked, DJ said mine used to talk themselves to sleep. I actually sent a video to a friend earlier. He was sitting on my shoulder, falling asleep, just chattering away. He definitely talks as he falls asleep. Let's see, what are we, 9:40? We've still got 11 minutes. What else do you want to talk about? Oh, good, there's still coffee. It's iced coffee at this point, but whatever. I'll take it. I'm not picky. I like cold coffee. Another one? He's like, I do. Let's see. Chipmunk on helium. Nick said, I think the quote was chipmunk on helium. There's been that one too, but there was one, it was, they thought drugs were involved in the comment. DJ said, I think I'm half chicken. Male budgies I had spoke, but some people don't understand that I can tell you what they said. Yeah, that's him. He's, someone super clearly, the peekaboo baby bird, good baby, like that sounds a lot like what I'm saying. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty doesn't sound anything like it took me a while to realize what he was doing. It's like a da-da, 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 da-da. That's just, it doesn't even sound close, but that's what he's trying to do. He imitates my keyboard sound because I type really fast and I have clicky keys. So he mimics that. What else do you say? You say lots of things. Do. Let's see. A few different like little song type things. So yeah. Let's see. Teresa said, is scanning your drawing to have prints made from good if you don't have a digital camera? The digital camera I find gives way better results than scanning. I used to scan. If it's small enough, I would scan, but it feels like the scanner blows out color. It makes things look grainier because the way the light is so harsh, it just doesn't give you as natural of a look. And it can be done. I mean, I have scanned things before and gotten okay results, but it took so much editing to make it work right. The digital camera just gives such better results. So yeah, that's, You can scan it, and I mean, and you may scan something and get great results. Try it, but if it's not going well for you, it didn't for me either. I know it can be done, and it depends on the medium though. Like if you scan gouache, as long as you don't have it to where it's slightly, because that's really matte, if there's no reflection, you should get a really good scan out of it. So Inktense, I would imagine, would scan quite well. But I don't know, I haven't tried, I just use the camera now. But years ago, the scanner is what I use. And I would have like a big 30 by 40 inch canvas, and I would scan, normal size scanner. I'd set books up and try to prop it up and then move the painting a little bit, scan it, move it, scan it, and then Photoshop all those pieces together. I would spend as long trying to get a good scan from Frankensteining all those images together. I would spend as long as I did on the dang painting. It was so bad. It was so bad. Yeah, DJ said I scanned colored pencil before. It was horrible. Yeah, colored pencil, I don't get good results. Like it gets really grainy looking the way that the light just blows everything out. Ow! Tammy said the same thing. That's interesting. My digital photos are awful. Scans are much better for me. Okay, so the scanner you have, 100% going to make a difference. How much reflective surface is going to make a difference. If the medium is more reflective, you're going to get worse results. That's one of his favorite. Huh. So graphite really, see, DJ said graphite works well. I didn't find it to work well at all. Did not like the results. Graphite, charcoal, hated the results I got. So yeah, the scanner. Sometimes a scanner is going to work harder. It's kind of like the phone. So I've got the Samsung S22 Ultra. One of the problems with Samsung's newer phones is whatever program they're using is hyping up contrast to a point where it looks unnatural. And so if I take a photo of a piece, like I used to be able to take photos with my phone and post that like on Instagram, whatever, my in progress photos, can't do it anymore. It looks horrible because it's hyping up detail that's not there and it looks like poop. So yeah, I mean, bad. Like, this is not good. Don't pinch. So yeah, it depends on the scanner and what the scanner's programming is doing to that image. Ow. So that will absolutely make a difference. You were thinking it like UPS? I don't know. I don't know. Years ago, I tried using bigger scanners and printers at, God, what print shop was that? Like, I don't even remember what it was. Yeah, that did not go well. They also tried telling me they could not scan my work because they were convinced it was copyrighted. Yeah, to me, there's no even copyright, like it's the original, and yeah, you good baby. So yeah, that was hit or miss. You may have a scanner that does perfectly, like the phones. My old phone, I could take photos great of my artwork, not anymore. Now I have to grab the DSLR if I even want a quick shot to post on Instagram, which is probably why I don't post on Instagram as often as I used to. So yeah, it really depends. And also, if you are not already a member over at Patreon, for as little as $6 a month, you get access to all of my longer tutorials. There are over 400 available immediately when you sign up and new ones all the time. And there's some other pitch. I don't know what the other pitch is that I was supposed to mention in that. I don't remember the things. But I've got long lessons for very cheap, like really cheap. When I used to do lessons, in-person lessons, that was $20 for 2 hours. For $6, you get all of my lessons, all of them, over 400. There's something for everyone in there. Let's see. How does scanning turn out with Faber-Castell graphite matte pencils? I have no idea. Again, it's going to depend on your scanner too. So it's not a one size fits all. I apparently don't have a good scanner for scanning artwork. It looks like, well, poop. So yeah. Peekaboo, baby bird. Let's see. What? I don't even know what that one was. I just beep beep. What do I have going on this week? I'm starting the underpainting for the acrylic portion of the horse that I'm going to be doing, that portrait. So that's going to be happening this week. So no birds get to come in here for like weeks and weeks. We'll have to either record my intros for videos in my office or just no birds, because it won't be safe for you. So if you have birds, make sure you know what supplies are safe for them to be around. If I've got odorless mineral spirits, while it is odorless, there is a fume there, and I would not want that around my birds. So even if I'm working in colored pencil, if I'm using OMS, no birds in the room. Once whatever you're working on is dry, it's totally safe. You're fine. But until then, if you can smell it, and even OMS you can't smell, so you just have to trust it's wet, it's bad for the birds. and their air sacs, they're just way more sensitive. So it's like the dogs, it's fine. For cats, you're fine. Birds are the problem. My fish, I've got a reef tank in here with super sensitive animals. They're fine. I've got my bearded dragon, my frogs. Frogs are very sensitive. I mean, they're like your indicator species as far as environmental stuff goes. Never had a problem with them. But okay, one is deformed. Take from that what you will. But anyway, yeah, birds are the problem. So oil paints, even acrylic paints, while they're non-toxic and they don't really have a smell, when they're wet, there is gases being set off that I don't trust. Well, they'd probably be fine. I'm not going to risk it. So yeah, not going to risk your little floofy life. So anyway, just a few things. If you have birds, be aware of that when it comes to your artwork, that not everything is going to be safe. The colored pencils, the pan pastels, safe. Spraying the Spectrafix, I don't want to spray in the room with him. I should probably not pick that up because it'll make you fly, So things to be aware of. Let's see. Beep. Did you say beep? 3 minutes. What do you want to talk about? You can still bid on the Flamingo. I'm not going to pick it up. Actually, I could just show you this way, though, because that actually is really accurate. Color-wise and everything, that weirdly looks surprisingly accurate, which is not always the case. So that, you've got a few minutes to bid on that. Let's see. What was that? The baby bird. So Nugget, my husband's parrotlet, he does this guttural, and I don't know if that's what he thinks that Matt's voice sounds like, because Matt obviously has a deeper voice, being a man, and his voice is deep anyway, even for a guy. So I don't know if that's why Nugget does it, but Nugget will say baby bird, but in this guttural bird. It sounds like a little demon trying to talk, and so he does it now because he copied it from Nugget. It's really funny. I think it's funny. Well, okay, it's kind of disturbing that voice coming from the tiny, tiny little bird, but let's see. No Phoenix colored pencils, huh? So, okay, projects coming up next. Okay, I think I went over that. The cow, charcoal, colored pencil, pan pastel for the chicken. The face is so funny. And then after that, I've got coral and fish in acrylics. Coral and a clownfish. I don't know what's coming after that. I'm just going to, when I'm too sleepy to really focus, I'm going to start scheduling live streams because it makes it so much easier. That's always the part about the live stream that takes me the longest to prep, is coming up with the photo, making the thumbnail, all of that. So yeah, if you have suggestions, feel free to leave those in the comments, or definitely I am open to suggestions for subject matter and medium. Now, certain mediums like oil painting, I'm not going to do a live stream. That's just too slow. I need something that I can get done very quickly. That's why I do so much with pan pastel and colored pencil. I can get a lot done very quickly. Acrylics are another one that I can do very quickly. Oils, no. Colored pencil and OMS is no. That's why I have to layer it on something else. Colored pencil and watercolor I can do. But graphite's going to be too slow. Charcoal I can do. How about a ferret? Oh, a ferret would be cute. Do me a favor. I'm so going to forget this, and I don't have anything to write on. Wait, no, I can. I'll write it right here. I lied. I can write it down myself. I was going to say message me, but I can go. Those guys are so freaking cute. Okay. Colored pencils and watercolor. I just have to watch what I do that with because I'm slower with watercolor, and I got myself into trouble on one project and it looked horrible and I had to go back and finish it later because I needed more time. Let's see. Thank you to our moderators. Check out their channels. Links are in the video description. Joseph also wants a ferret. I'll add that to my list. I'll start looking for good photos. That's going to be the thing too. I have to find good photos. But Joseph live streams every week. Link is in the video description. We've got Clark Fine Art. Is she here tonight? I didn't look through the messages, so I'm not sure. But she live streams every week too. Definitely want to check her out. And Nick Fine Art. No, Nick. Wait, do you go Nick Fine Art? Edgar Fine Art? I don't know. My brain is not working. Nick Edgar. Okay, he's just Nick Edgar. But he rarely uploads, but when he does, it's definitely something you want to check out. What? Baby. Okay, that is it. It is 10:01. Want to go hang out and eat snacks in the office? I will see you guys next week, and I think that's it. Thanks, and good night.